Good morning, welcome to our morning review. This is Kim speaking on Wednesday, the 11th of January. So looking at euro dollar first, and yesterday, well, the daily candle there, shooting star, air kissing the daily 50, possibly or normally would suggest some further downside. However, we seem to be supported by the daily 8 at the moment, and it really depends if we can start sort of pushing back up towards that 50. There's a possible well, there's certainly potential for us to break through that daily 50 at some point. However, there is also some very low level divergence running on the dailies there as well, very low down, and not what I'd qualify as a tradable divergence, but certainly it's suggesting that there wasn't, well, as we can see, there wasn't any strength even in the move up there when it was occurring. Now, looking at the short intermediate time frame here, well, that's really still pedaling southwards mostly. I would only be looking alongside if we start breaking up above this hourly 50. At the moment, it's not near enough a case of drawing on the trend line and looking for the sell or potential sell points below the trend line as it occurs. In terms of what we're seeing here, lower highs, lower lows. Yeah, if we can get above the hourly 50, we've got the daily pivot to chase for, which is not many pips above, but maybe it will push towards the R1 side of things and into yesterday afternoon's high, towards yesterday afternoon highs. The pound actually put in a reasonable day yesterday. It's in this zone of support. Let me just pull it out so you can see the whole of the daily chart here. It's in this zone of support. Air kiss the monthly S1. It's put in a nice bullish candle, which is completely opposite to the euro candle, of course. And well, there's sort of signs I'm seeing here. There was a divergence on the 4-hourly chart here, proper divergence, and well, there's the potential for it to push on onwards. If it continues like this up post 8 o'clock, I will be looking at the upside towards the R1, maybe further. Now we did get up yesterday eventually towards the daily pivot, and it stalled, but it's already above the daily pivot at the moment. So erring, as I say, erring marginally more bullish. It did actually put in a higher low rather, and a slight higher low, sorry, a higher high even, get it the right way around, as we ran through into the Asian sessions. But it's whether or not we can maintain that sort of upside. It's again looking, if it does start breaking below its current bar. Now it's a bit odd to put the line on here, but as the bar's not finished, but if it starts breaking down below this here, getting back below the daily pivot here and below this current bar's low, to me, it's more likely then to roll over some more. One thing I will mention actually on the pound, whilst it did drift off a little bit around about 8 o'clock, most of yesterday it held up pretty well. Whilst the other currencies were soft against the US dollar, the pound was more stalled against it. It wasn't particularly strong, but at the same time it was stalling. Okay, dollar yen. Well, I was looking for further downside here. I'm still sort of looking for a move down towards this daily 50, but it's not completely put things off. Almost put a little hammer in yesterday, so it's a bit of a reversal bar there. If we start breaking up above that daily 8 moving average, well, we could be on for some further upside, but it's we haven't really got a confirmed lower high here as such at the moment, although it pretty much, well, looks like it. We haven't broken the prior lows here. If anything, we could end up with a bit of a Gartley pattern coming in as sort of a dodgy Gartley pattern if it did rally up here, which would then see it roll back over, or potentially roll back over. Now, looking from an intermediate time frame, well, again, hasn't confirmed it yet, but almost a higher low coming through. If it starts breaking above yesterday's highs there into the daily R1 today and beyond, well, it could push up even further towards maybe that 60-minute 200 as a target. Aussie dollar. Aussie dollar's managed to hold on a bit more stubborn by the looks of things. At one stage yesterday, I thought that was it. It was gonna roll, but it managed to gain back and hold on to its gains, and it's almost back to, or almost up to its daily 50, which was my original target for it to get towards. It's running okay there. There is a bit of divergence running across on the 4 hours here, so it's not necessarily the strongest looking move. And each time it gets up to a new high, it gives it back. It gives back quite a sizable proportion of what it's doing, a 50% retrace often soon afterwards. And it's done the same here. It's already hit the daily pivot, run up to its R1, and it's back almost 50% from its Asian session low to the high there, good 38%. Possibly over the days it could be pushing up further, but I'm not overly convinced with it. It's a funny old one for me to be trading, so I'll leave it there. Finally, dollar CAD, and well, consolidation is sort of phased over the last few days. It's continued here. Still got the weekly pivot above us, which may be a target if we do start pushing up. But yesterday, it's certainly in phases, but as soon as it gains anything, it gave it almost straight back yesterday. So given this whipsaw effect, I was looking earlier on for the break of the lows there, but it didn't occur until about 2 o'clock. And then by the time it got back down there seems to be quite some support around that point. Some buying coming into the market yet again as it broke down to those lows. Did look like at one, I thought it might have run over to its S1, but it's been held into that very tight range. Today, well, it's at the moment looking like it's finding a bit of support for the daily pivot. It's still got that weekly pivot above, so any sort of rallies up, well, I'd be looking at yesterday's highs and maybe even more, but it's holding up pretty well. It's just a quick flick of oil, and yeah, oil's rolled over somewhat back down to almost it's $51 a barrel, just under. So it's a surprise if we saw Canadian dollar shoot up at some point, particularly if the US dollar starts gaining a bit more strength against the other currencies. So all in all, preference is really towards, as ever, the European currencies. Looking at potential short on the euro there, and well, ironically, we can hold on more upside on the pound, but if that rolls over below this low here, would be looking at the short side there as well. Now there is news out this morning that may affect the pound. I should add as well, just run through the news events. At 9:30 we've got manufacturing production, and then at 2:15 we've got the Bank of England Governor Carney speaking, which could again, as we progress with Brexit and everything else, more questions to keep coming out, and well, we'll get his views, and there's a question and answer session on his meeting there, so we could get some more volatility around that time. For the normal other data which may affect the Canadian dollar particularly is the crude oil inventories at 3:30, and we've got at 4 p.m. there's the President-elect Trump is due to speak, to hold a press conference in Trump Tower, so crikey. Anyway, that's at 4 p.m. So okay, be aware there may be some volatility in markets throughout the day today. That's it for me. Have a great one. Bye for now.